Hello everyone, John Alexis Guerra Gomez again here, and this is Web Development Northeastern University, week 3, I think, second class, and we are going to be talking today about JavaScript. So without further ado, what we have been learning before this is that we learned the main three elements for web development, which are HTML for defining like the semantics of your page, then CSS for controlling how those semantics are going to be displayed. We also did a little bit of Bootstrap, which is my kind of like tool of choice for speeding up development, and especially without having to reinvent the wheel on CSS. And now we are going to be talking a little bit about JavaScript or ECMAScript in terms of how we can use a programming language directly in the web to help us modify what's happening both in the backend and also in the front end. Okay. So I hope you have completed the reading discussions. Just a quick reminder, if you go to johnguerra.co and then into the classes, you should be able to find the class for the page for the class rather. And then here on the readings, I have a shared Google sheet that shows you what are the readings for the different classes. So here are the materials that I strongly recommend you to read. At the very least, this one in here. And this video is also very useful. I strongly recommend you to take a look at that. And then remember, all of these other ones are a little bit more optional, but actually the MDN has like the best materials for that. So if you have any questions, please do let us know on Slack and we'll try to answer them as soon as we can. But then some things that you should be thinking about yourself and you should be able to answer right now will be um, uh, or rather, before getting into those questions, let me tell you about how you can ask for questions from us. So I remember that I told you about how to ask questions from Stack Overflow, how to ask. Yes, there you go. I've opened it so many times. So if you search for Stack Overflow, how to ask, here is a guide of that. So always make sure first that you try to answer things on your own, which is basically what I'm telling you here. Try to yourself first to answer it. Like spend a significant amount of time on that. Like every time you're asking for someone else's advice or help on something, make sure that you have spent, I don't know, 3 times, 5 times the amount of time that it was going to take them to answer your question. Try it yourself, because otherwise you're not going to learn, and also out of respect of that other people. That's why Stack Overflow was perfect for that, because it was a platform for asking questions like that. So Google it, make sure if it is not on Stack Overflow. As a last resort nowadays, like you can go to Claude or like whatever is your LLM of choice, and then try to see if Claude can help you find that. And if you cannot find it and if you still cannot figure it out, make sure to create something reproducible. So remember that in one of the previous videos, I told you that you can develop using many different techniques. So one way of creating like a bug or something like that is going into CodePen and then like trying to replicate the problem that you have in here. Like for instance, I have some basic examples in here on when people were asking like, hey, how can I create an animation using Vegalite? So I created this little example and then I can send them that. And that way they know if it will work or if it will not work. And I have a bunch of examples like those. But then you can also use it for like, hey, here is a bug or a problem I'm finding. Can you help me find it? And then it will be very easy for us to go into that page, try to find the error, and then provide you with another piece of code that tells you what that is. Okay, so you can create that, and then you go into Slack, and then in general you go and tag us. Remember, maybe another student can help you answer before I can see it, or the TAs. So that will be very useful. But then the other thing is that not only go and try it yourself, but also tell us the things you try. So that way we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to repeat the same errors or problems that you had. So all of this way we can all learn together. Now about the questions I was telling you before. So some very basic like teasing questions in here is like, what the heck is let? And why do you need that? Do you know that? So what is a linter? That is something that maybe it's not directly in the guide, but I hope you can learn a little bit more about that. Maybe research it. Like what is a linter? Why should be using it? And then it's JavaScript object oriented. So wonder about those questions. Maybe tell me what you think on Slack, and then go from there. Okay.